Hello, I'm Miloš Levinsky and you're watching Break the Fake. They make them, we break them, and tell you everything you need to know. And right off the bat, we've got a huge, massive, Russia-sized fake to break today. Here's a little caveat. We won't be trying to break Russia itself, mostly because at this rate, it might do so on its own, unless someone keeps patching it up with copious amounts of sticky tape. Anyway, yesterday saw Moscow celebrate Russia Day, and it came at a rather inopportune moment, not just because it featured a speech by a certain dictator who just won't leave the Russians and the rest of the world alone. In his latest congratulations to the Russians, Vladimir Putin said that Russia is a huge ship that keeps moving forward. Yeah, about that. Remember how the Ever Given blocked the Suez Canal a few years back? Seems to me it's that kind of ship we're talking about. A bit ponderous, a bit ungainly, a clumsy beast whose captain keeps running it aground and everyone suffers as a result.
Огромный государственный корабль, его паруса наполнялись вот тем вдохновением, о котором здесь тоже было сказано. И он двигался вперед, укрепляя свою государственность, свои ценности, которые стали традиционными на протяжении более чем 1000 лет.
Also, if we're using seafaring vessels by way of metaphor, I guess Ukrainian border guards from the Snake Island can hardly contain their laughter now. I mean, you do remember what they told a certain Russian warship to do, and how that Russian warship actually obliged sometime later, courtesy of Ukrainian missiles. So I guess Russia is about to become a great submarine now. But it's not the end of nonsense in Putin's speech. Vladimir Putin has once again spoken about the heroes of the eastern Ukraine, but this time in a style worthy of dark fantasy. During his speech, the Kremlin leader said that Russians should not be afraid of death, because Russia's strength is in immortality. Well, if immortality is when you die near Avdiivka and your portrait photo is carried by one of your relatives on the 9th of May, then yes, I guess this system works.
Имеет отношение не только к сегодняшнему дню, а вообще к России. Бессмертие русского народа и России. Многонационального народа России и нашей общей государственности тысячелетней. Страна наша время от времени проходит через очень тяжелые испытания. А бессмертие это выражается в победах нашей страны.
In fact, latest estimates say that in pursuit of this immortality, about 1 million Russian troops either lost their lives or sustained wounds that eliminated them from battle. 1 million! And remember, this milestone was reached exactly on Russia Day. I guess even Lenin's mummy must have winced at the realization of how its mausoleum is being dwarfed by the rising pile of body bags. And yeah, it is a tragedy. Many of those troops could have lived normal lives if it wasn't for their dictator's folly. Then again, many went to war willingly, committing war crimes. In their case, as a certain Ukrainian lady once said, take these seeds and put them in your pockets, so at least sunflowers will grow when you all fall down. Remember how I mentioned keeping the creaking Russian ship together with gaffer tape? Yeah. 1 million Russians may have fallen, but Putin's oligarchs are lining their pockets with money from countries that still buy Russian gas and oil, including European countries. Also, dear friends in Washington, any chance for those sanctions to arrive anytime soon? Because so far we only got Russia Day greetings from Secretary of State Marco Rubio. I'm not even joking at this point. He said the US wants constructive engagement. With war criminals? Oh, good luck with that. Also, the words "the United States remains committed to supporting the Russian people as they continue to build on their aspirations for a brighter future" seem almost comedic at this point, darkly comedic actually. 1 million Russians have already been denied that future by Putin's regime. Timing, as they say, is everything. Now let's jump to our favorite American vatnik, Tucker Carlson, who recently did an interview with Telegram founder Pavel Durov. Okay, after doing Putin and Dugin in a single trip, this is not really sensational, but bear with me. One of the main reasons why hundreds of millions of people around the world trust their secrets to Telegram is the image created by Pavel Durov as an unwavering freedom fighter, standing up for user privacy and being persecuted by the authorities of Russia and other countries because of it. This is how Pavel himself described his app in the interview.
Telegram does zero censorship in terms of political speech, and Telegram provides 100% privacy and confidentiality to its users in all these places.
So you do not extract personal information from your users?
Unlike our company, yes. We never do that.
Okay. But other companies, I mean, Facebook is, I mean, Meta is very rich because they extract that personal data, right?
That's their business model, yes.
That's right, I'm not attacking them.
Yeah.
Sorry, I am attacking them. but that's what they do, and you don't do that.
Yes,
right.
We don't have to do that. We came up with ways to monetize Telegram without having to abuse people's personal data this way.
Alright, about that. You see, unlike WhatsApp and Signal, Durov's app does not use end-to-end encryption technology by default. Its principle is that the sender's message can only be decrypted on the recipient's device, where the secret key is stored. But Telegram is organized differently. End-to-end encryption is used only in secret chats, which need to be activated separately. According to Durov's former colleague Anton Rosenberg, 98% of Messenger users communicate in regular chats. All messages from them are decrypted and stored on Telegram servers. This means that whoever controls the server can get access to the correspondence. Wonderful. Now, independent Russian website Important Stories, specializing in investigative journalism, actually did some digging on the topic. Now, until the year 2020, the IP addresses of Telegram, which are now controlled by GNM, belonged to the St. Petersburg-based company GlobalNet. This is a backbone telecom operator, which owns fiber optic networks across Russia with a length of over 18,000 kilometers. Now, despite the change of ownership, hundreds of these messenger IP addresses are still defined in Russia. Until recently, the beneficiary of GlobalNet was the same guy, Vladimir Vinediev. But in 2024, he transferred his title to his relatives, who now control 96% of the company. Another 4% belongs to a guy named Roman Venediktov. Now, GlobalNet provides communication services to several Russian state-owned enterprises, including those working in the defense sector, the Western-sanctioned Kurchatov Institute, and the main scientific research computing center of the Russian presidential administration, or Glavnivts. Officially, Glavnivts is engaged in technical support of summits, direct lines, and meetings with the participation of Vladimir Putin, but unofficially, it is in fact a closed analytical center working in the interests of the FSB, the FSO, Ministry of Internal Affairs, and Ministry of Defense. Yikes. Glavnivts is engaged in mass surveillance of Russians on the internet and promotes Kremlin propaganda on social networks with the help of bots. The center is also responsible for developing a nationwide video surveillance system with facial recognition. With its help, the security forces raid both political activists and those who, for example, are trying to avoid being sent to the army. This means that the server infrastructure of Telegram is the responsibility of those who are at the same time maintaining the secret FSB complexes used for surveillance of Russian citizens. And now tell me, after all we told you, do you still believe Mr. Durov and his statements about how safe Telegram is? I know coincidence, I don't think so, has become a bad cliché at this point. But really. And with this we conclude this edition of Break the Fake. Please stay with us here on TVP World for more latest news and updates.